Yeah, welcome everybody. Yes, I'll be constructing an obstacle avoiding car, and these are the materials I used. These are the materials I'll be using. I used the rubber for the tires. You can see that slippers rubber for the tires, and this is a construction of the plan view of the car, of the obstacle avoiding car. I constructed it on a cardboard. I used a cardboard to construct this. So this was the construction process. That was freehand sketch. Now this is a motor driver. A motor driver. These are things I'll use an Arduino board, a motor driver, and also an ultrasonic sensor. Ultrasonic sensor is what we sense the distance. It will detect the distance between the car and the obstacle in front of it to know if it's close enough to divert to another direction. I also be using a DC motor. This is a DC motor. It's quite different from what is in other tutorials, but this is what I was able to lay my hands on. Now this is a servo motor. This is my 3.5 volts battery. I'll be using two of these to power my circuits. Now this is the initial stage of the car. I was actually testing the motor. Yes, the motor here. I was testing it out and I had not connected the sensor. I had not connected the sensor to the circuit. So I was testing the motor here. Yes, at this point I had actually connected everything and it's ready for test, but unfortunately one of my DC motor developed faults and I just had only four. So I had to make do with just two. I had to make do with just two of those of the DC motor that are working. So I used just two for the rear wheel. I used it for the rear wheel. And to my surprise, um, yes, I used two for the rear wheel. Yeah, this point was where I discovered one of my motor was not working. So I actually tried to use another kind of motor, but the motor had no gear, so it wouldn't work. It worked when connected, but it will not work when tires are attached to it. So it's not as strong as those that had gear. So I had to discard these two sets of motors. I had to discard them. Yes, at this point I was using just two DC motor, and I discovered that there was no obstacle in front, but my obstacle avoiding car was just moving in circles. And what could it be the problem? So it means the tires were running in opposite direction even when there's no obstacle. The logic is that when there's no obstacle you should move forward, and if there's an obstacle, then you should check, you should look right or left and check the distance, the one that has a far distance to move towards that direction. But it was just turning in circles. So what I discovered was that one of the DC motor was actually connected wrongly. Wow, that's why I could have done that. Then I felt like giving myself a knock on the head. So I had to change it. The terminal. I had to change the terminal from positive to negative and negative back to positive. So I changed it. Then I now have a perfectly working obstacle avoiding car. So that's it. Now moving forward. gets to an obstacle, stops, check, then it turns. So I now have a good obstacle avoiding car. Yeah, that's it. So I think I spent less than 30,000 naira. So that's less than $30. That's less than 30 US dollars for this whole setup. So that's that. Obstacle avoiding car. Thank you very much for watching, and do have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.